as well.
All right.
Okay, so the market was up yesterday 0.35%, 30,745 points is where we closed. So far this year, we're still down by 2.1%. Ikeja Hotel was our top gainer yesterday, up by 10%. I believe Champions Breweries was our top loser, down by 10%. In all, 20 stocks were down, 16 gained in value, so negative balance there. The first thing we're going to talk about, I don't know, this might take up all our time, but huge allegations being made by BusinessDAY newspaper with regards to the Central Bank of Nigeria. In fact, the allegations were so heavy that the Central Bank was forced to release a press release yesterday addressing it. This thing kind of made my head spin, so I'm going to do my best to explain what BusinessDAY is talking about here. But the headline is Exposed: the sleazy face of the 306 naira per dollar exchange rate. So what BusinessDAY is saying in their headline is that we're looking at one of the biggest foreign exchange rackets since the days of Abacha. And back then, Abacha would give his friends dollars at 20 naira per dollar, and then they would go on the black market and sell it anywhere between 50 to 70 naira and make huge gains. In fact, legend has it that a lot of billionaires were minted during that time. But what they're saying is that as a result of the 306 naira exchange rate, which is on the central bank's website, any of you can go on the central bank's website and take a look, that there are some faceless agents, according to BusinessDAY. Again, I have to stress this is coming from BusinessDAY. Faceless agents who are making a profit that is at a minimum of 32 billion naira annually.
32 billion naira.
Yeah, it's pretty huge, and they're using that based on the difference between the 306 naira exchange rates per dollar on the central bank's website and what the central bank uses for its budget, and the 360 naira per dollar exchange rate, which is on the parallel market. So now again, I have to try and explain this thing because they made some assumptions here, and I'm still kind of scratching my head. But so here's what they're saying. They're saying that, and they used oil exporters, that is the international oil companies. They use them for their assumption. What they said is that when an exporter approaches the central bank, the official window, to exchange their dollars for naira, they use it to address their admin expenses, overhead costs, paying salaries in naira, and so on and so forth. So they said that the exporter comes to the central bank and says, hey, central bank, here are my dollars, I want to collect naira, I have to pay my salaries, and so on and so forth. The central bank now sends an agent and says the agent will handle the transaction. The agent collects the dollars from the oil company and then at 306 naira per dollar, and then goes to the black market and then sells them for 360 naira, making a difference of 54 naira. Yeah, it's pretty huge. And so the way they came out to their 32 billion Lagos, let's try and understand this thing here. They used Seplat, which is an oil company here in Nigeria that operates here in Nigeria. They're an upstream company. They export oil. They took a look at their 9-month 2018 revenue, which came out to about $757 million, right? They now try to extrapolate their full year revenue for 2018 was 757 million. They now looked at their admin expenses, and they arrived at $73 million. So they essentially said that Seplat's admin expenses, what they use to take care of salaries, overheads, blah, 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 is 9.6% of their full year revenue. So they now went and took that 9.6 figure and they applied it to all the international oil companies that operate in Nigeria. So what they used was what's called the JV agreement. This is a joint venture agreement between the federal government and oil companies in Nigeria. And so there's an agreement. The federal government says, hey, oil companies, okay, you come, you drill for oil, you take out the oil, you sell it, and then I'll take a share of that since I own the land, and then you take a share of it since you're the oil company. So they looked at NNPC's 2018 report. I think it's for 9 months, and I think the total amount was like 1.5 trillion naira. So federal government got 924 billion, oil companies got, the IOCs got 581 billion. So that joint venture agreement is like a 61% to 39% share. Okay, I hope you're still with me. I hope Lagos is still with me.
Okay. We're listening intently to your analysis.
So essentially, based on that 581 billion figure that international oil companies got from the IOC agreement, they converted that to dollars at 306 and it came out to $1.9 billion. Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, they now took 9.6% of that figure, the same way they took 9.6% of Seplat's figure, and then they came out to about, I think it was about $505 million. Then they now added Seplat's admin cost to the full picture, and then essentially they came out to $578 million. In Naira terms, if you convert that at 306, it comes out to 172 billion. Now, this is the key part here. If you convert their admin expenses, you're coming up to 176 billion. It's what they're saying that all IOC companies, international oil companies, spent on admin expenses. But if you convert it to 360, it comes out to 208 billion. So that's where they get that difference of 32 billion that they're saying they're now putting in their pockets. They didn't take in indigenous oil companies like ITO and other companies that are based in Nigeria. They didn't add that. They didn't add that non-oil revenue, non-oil exports. So what they're saying is that essentially, at a minimum, these faceless agents are pocketing 32 billion. Now, it's pretty heavy. Let me just read central bank's response here. So the central banks, it's quite a lot.
That's a huge margin. And of course, this has been brewing under, but we haven't had this level of investigation.
Exactly. But again, I stress, so this is coming from BusinessDAY. So here's what the central bank said in their press release. They said that the headline is out, the press release headline: unfounded allegations by BusinessDAY newspaper. CBN wishes to state unequivocally that this report is unfounded and untrue, and challenges BusinessDAY to provide the names and also verifiable evidence of collusion between these faceless agents and officials of the CBN who are working to perpetrate these so-called FX racket schemes. We would also urge the management of BusinessDAY to contact the CBN prior to making such spurious allegations, as we were denied the benefit of responding to this article. It also says the CBN wishes to remind BusinessDAY, as most financial observers have noted, that the FX rates across various markets governed and regulated by the CBN have been converging. What they mean by that is they've been coming together. So the black market is 360, the I&E window, the investors and exporters window is 361, 362. So they're saying that it's coming together, and there's leaving no room for arbitrage. Arbitrage is taking advantage of a price mispricing of an asset. So if just to quickly explain for people, if a bag of rice on the mainland is 15,000 naira and a bag of rice on the island is 10,000 naira, that's an arbitrage of 5,000. So you can buy a bag of rice for 10,000 on the island, go sell it on the mainland for 15 and make your 5,000 profit. So they're saying that's not true, but the fact remains that on their CBN's website, the exchange rate is still 306, and that's what we're using for the budget. So it's pretty heavy stuff. That's the story.
Very heavy stuff. And for BusinessDAY to come out and have this exposed, it's almost historical, because you hardly see any news agency coming out to say such a thing. And you find it in international media, but not here. Now, of course, as you would expect, we have a number of people reacting to the story on WhatsApp. Again, you can send your numbers, your text or your messages to 0809 4440981. The first one I'll be reading is from Papi K. Now, Papi K says, bro, let BusinessDAY drop names and parties, or we don't believe them. They should be like their counterparts and deliver top-notch investigative journalism. Nail these baggers at CBN, if they're sure. Right. Now, again, that's another thing. It's another thing this is investigative journalism at its finest. Right. It's another thing to get a conviction or to get a reaction from this story. Exactly. Right. So Cruz is saying, "Malai, the meat of this morning class never thinking finish. I go find them for YouTube." Honestly, Cruz, I'm sure you're not the only one, but I'm sure many people are also grabbing and understanding. And thank you so much for that detailed. It's really. You can pick it up. It's on the headline. You can still get the paper from yesterday. It's there. Or if you subscribe to BusinessDAY online, you can grab the headline from yesterday. It's pretty heavy stuff. All right. So Olufemi says, why would any company go to the CBN with dollars and ask for naira? Very good point. And in fact, it's in the story, BusinessDAY actually says that, look, because of this thing, certain companies were diverting and not going to this official window, because they were like, you're shorting us, you're collecting our dollars at 306 when the exchange. So they now said that, again, in the same story, they now said, and thank you for that message, they now said that certain companies were now diverting from the CBN, but the CBN was now penalizing them. Again, this is all under the radar. It's tough for the paper to come out and name names. So they're saying unnamed sources, unnamed sources. So yes, that was addressed in the story. But if they had to go to court, they'd be.
Yeah, they have to. Yeah. You know, so I don't know if the CBN is going to pursue this any further or what they'll do, but it's something they've made the allegation, so we just have to see how far. Yeah, another interesting story that came out yesterday. We didn't get a chance to address this. Mr. Aliko Dangote, or Alhaji, excuse me, or Alhaji Aliko Dangote of the Dangote Refinery, he got a visit again from the CBN. The CBN governor, Mr. Emefiele, visited the refinery, and Dangote was quoted as saying that his refinery will not sell petrol at the regulated price. I've been waiting for him to mention or talk about this for a long time, because you know there's a band of between 135 naira and 145. Yeah. Everybody sells at 145, right? Yeah. So the question has now been this man is, I think the estimated cost of this refinery is about 12 to 13 billion dollars. When it comes on stream, is he going to sell PMS at 145? The market rate, if you go to what they are selling fuel for in Ghana, Cameroon, it's like 300 naira per liter. Yeah, so
Nigeria has probably one of the cheapest market rates for PMS
because it's subsidized.
Yes, it's subsidized, and a number of people have actually questioned that. And you know, the question is, should we, should subsidy remain? Should we remove it? Is it a waste of money? Is it a waste of money? So, it will be interesting to see when private players like him, come into the game and see. It would change the game.
But his comments, I know, because that kind of thing, it sounded like a dig at the government, yeah? Because he now made some some funnier comments. He said here, where is his quote? He says, we're not here to concentrate on exports, but pricing of products depends entirely on the government. He says if there'll be a subsidy, which I doubt very much, that is the job of government, not the job of Dangote, to determine what the price will be. So he was essentially saying that it's still up to the government to determine the price of PMS, not him. I don't know if he was saying that to shield himself. Right. So anyway, look, if you're a businessman and you spend billions, I expect you to get your money back.
I was just going to say that at the end of the day, he's not the Nigerian government.
Exactly.
He's in it for profit.
Yes.
And so if he's going to be pumping a lot of money into this, then of course you can imagine that. But again, that's why some people have raised eyebrows as to regulation. Are people watching what's in it for him?
Right.
Is the government going to be on his side? Are we protected as a nation? Or is the ball firmly in his court?
Right.
We have some comments on
we'll see how far with that. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So Cruz still continues. He says, can we just get 1 billion bicycles from the world for that? That's a fit farm thing as well. Alright, then AIE says, alright, still in response to the Business Day story, CBN's response looks weak. I believe Business Day story now.
I know, right? People are taking sides. What else? Okay, the federal government savings bond is out. The new window for February. So a 2-year bond, you can take advantage of that at 12.05%. A 3-year bond, 13.05%. So contact any broker, fill out a form. They release they open this window for 1 week every month. So whoever is interested in savings, minimum of 5,000 naira. The window closes on Friday. So if everyone wants to invest in the federal government savings bond, the money is completely safe since it's backed by the full faith and credit of the federal government of Nigeria. Yes,
all right. Indeed. Thank you so much, Rotus. I wish we could take more comments.
I know, they're still coming.
Yes, there's one I had to take, but you won't answer today.
Okay, no problem.
Maybe another day.
All right.
It says, good morning, my name is Ebenezer. Please, can CBN sell dollar to individuals?
Okay, I'll answer it tomorrow.
Okay, that's a promise. Yes. And that's why you have to be back tomorrow morning. Rotus will be here 6:45 here on your smoothest dial.
Thank you.
This is still Smooth 98.1. We'll go on a break, and when we come back, 7:30, be here freshly pressed, and we have our analyst standing by.